Hi, accounting. Happy Wednesday. Today is the last day of the week, technically, because you guys have your break. Uh, Thursday, Friday. Happy holidays to all of you. Hopefully, you guys are able to virtually enjoy it. That's what we're doing. We're going to have a virtual Easter dinner. So it's amazing, though, because, again, Gio and Donnie, the only concern that they have is, did the Easter Bunny get the coronavirus? They're very worried. I said, no, the Easter Bunny clearly has a pastel, face mask. He's been wearing gloves long before. He's got to go into all these different people's houses. He's got to protect himself. So, just fun facts there for you guys. And then we're also going to have a Wellness Monday. So more coloring sheets, not that many of you did them. So there's still time just in case you're like, oh man, I didn't get a chance. I wonder if she'll give us that opportunity again. Yep. Or maybe you can give me some ideas, for other types of phrases other accounting phrases that you'd like to see in your coloring sheets. I'd be more than happy to. So then there's that. But besides that, you guys are doing super, super great. This is hard stuff. I'm giving you a lot of credit. This is not the ideal way of learning accounting. Again, please be honest, keep in touch. I'm trying to not be hard on you guys. If you're late, you missed something, submit it to me late, just let me know. That's all I'm asking. Hey, I couldn't get to it today. I'll send it to you tomorrow. I just don't want you getting, so behind that you lose yourself. Don't lose yourself. That's really it. Okay, so I'm not going to see you, so I'll say again, enjoy your weekend. And if you have questions, please reach out. You're never bothering me. I look forward to them, strangely, even when they're kind of, weird and creepy. They're really not that. In my AP econ, they're a little creepier. You guys your emails aren't creepy. You as people, completely creepy. I didn't want to make anyone feel bad. You're like, wait, but I thought you thought yes, you are. Okay, there's that. You guys are going to like this method. It's the easiest of all the methods that you guys are going to learn. So here you go. Okay, so I know I give this to you. I'm just going to say it to you again in case, I don't know, you peaked in elementary school and you forgot how to read. So the average cost method is going to be the method that we're going to use today. And it computes the average cost of all of the goods available for sale during the period in order to determine the value of our ending inventory, which is what we are trying to do every single time. All we are trying to do is to determine the value of that ending inventory to put a dollar value there. So the cool thing about it, or the advantage of it, is that where we normally see fluctuations in price, what this is going to do is it's going to level out the effects of those cost increases and decreases because you're constantly taking the average. Okay, so we're going to start off with the exact same illustrative data that I gave you guys from yesterday, or I should say the day before, for specific identification. You're going to see it's going to be the same data. I'm going to give it to you for LIFO and when we learn FIFO as well. Same data, and then we're just applying different methods to it. So again, you've already done the specific identification, and today we're doing average cost. So again, what are we looking at? We're looking at all of our inventory purchases and the remaining balances of our inventory from, and again, I'm going to go like this and say from May 31st, and now we ended May 31st. Now we begin June 1st with this 50 units. How much did those 50 units cost us? They cost us $1. Then we made a purchase of another 50 units, whatever you want these units to be. They could be, again, hats, shoes, staplers, whatever you're into. All right. And based on the price, it probably, maybe hats could be reasonable. I don't know. But I think you guys get the picture. Then on the 13th, we purchased 150, and notice that they had all different prices for whatever reason. Inflation, is happening. Just go with that, for example. Again, notice that it's going up, again, incrementally, 10 cents. That's not realistic, so that's not relevant. So in case you're trying to see a trend line or something like that, that has really nothing to do with anything that we're trying to accomplish. Again, those can completely vary and change. All right. So at one point, we had a total of 500 units. We called that our cost of goods available for sale. All right, or I should say the goods available for sale, and then your cost of goods available for sale is right here. That's going to be super, super important. So these two numbers on your own notes, I would say circle them. That's what I would do. Because now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to calculate, again, the point is to get to the dollar value. We want a dollar value on our ending inventory. That's what we're trying to accomplish here. I'm going to keep being super annoying and keep reminding you guys that. So again, we had 500 units, then we sold 280, and then we're left with 220. So we're trying to put a value on these 220 units of inventory. So how do we go and do that? So notice again that I have the formula right here for you to get your average unit cost. So again, we're taking averages. We know that our cost of goods available for sale was $625. So we're going to take our cost of goods available for sale. It was $625. I just pulled it from there. And then we're going to divide it by the units that were available for sale. So I'll pull that. All right, so that's going to be 500 units that were available for sale. You're pulling that. They're always going to give that to you. So it's not like you're, oh my God, how will I ever know? All right, they give that to you, and you just have to do division. You're going to need a calculator, but you're welcome. I'll be your human calculator for today. And we're going to see that the average unit cost is going to be $1.25. And it makes sense, right? If you guys were to go and look at these, about average of them, again, based on, again, the quantities and stuff like that. But again, it ends up being $1.25. So now we need to put a dollar value to our ending inventory. That's the next piece. Right? Now that we know that each unit was $1.25 and that we had 220 units left, let's go and combine those two pieces of information. So again, we had 220 units at the $1.25, which gives us $2.75 as our value of ending inventory. I'll put a dollar sign there just to help you out. All right, so now the next piece of this is going to be calculating our cost of goods sold. So again, going back to this idea, I wrote it right here. So you've got your, again, here's your COGAS. Again, less ending inventory gives you your COGS. Again, you're pulling this number yet again. That's $625, subtracting out the $2.75, and then you're getting $3.50. Now remember that another way you could go and prove that out if you wanted to check your cost of goods sold was to go and look at the number that was sold. So we had 280 in sales, so 280 units times the $1.25, which is the average unit cost, and that would also give you the $3.50. So that's your built-in check for you right there. Okay, so now we're doing SE3. We're using the information from SE2 that we did with the specific identification, but now we're applying our average cost method to it. So it says, assume the following data with regard to inventory for a vegan company. So again, remember what we have to do. So I even put right here for you guys formulas. So we need to do a couple things. We need to put a dollar value on this 55 units. That's what we need to do. We need to find out the value of this ending inventory, the inventory left at the end of August. So that's what we need to do. We don't know what the dollar value is. So in order to do that, in order to get the average unit cost, we're going to take the cost of goods available for sale. We're going to take the COGAS, which is right here, and I'll label that. We're going to take the COGAS, and we're going to divide it by the number of units that were available for sale. All right. So now when we go and we do that, I'm going to do it actually, they give us a little spot down over here if you can try to follow me. So it was 1370 divided by the 125 units, and then you get a kind of off-brand number, which you might not be happy about. Again, I know rounding and stuff like that. So again, 10.96 or $10.96. Again, how we go about calculating our average cost is we multiply that average cost times the number of units. So again, we had 55 units left in ending inventory, where I'm getting that number, just showing you. All right, we multiply it by the 10.96, and then you end up with, again, I'm going to write 603. If you wrote 602.8 or $602.80, again, that's totally fine. Your textbook likes it to be solid numbers for this, just to keep it solid numbers, yikes. Whole numbers for this, just to keep the concept relatively easy. So now what we're going to go and do is we're going to go and put in, again, our cost of goods available for sale. And again, that was the $13.70 minus the $603. And then we end up with $767. I think that's good math. That might not be great math. I actually paused the video to just double check my math, just in case. I'm willing to admit it, okay? I told you guys, brutally honest with you all times. But notice again, very, very simple. You don't actually need all that other additional information in order to do anything, which is why you guys typically like this method the most and why we're able to breeze through this so quickly. Let's do one more, and then I won't annoy you for the whole weekend. All right, guys, last one, and it's going to be so super quick, especially because you guys are pros at this now. So again, we're doing the average cost. We know we're going to go and take our COGAS. All right, this is COGAS like in dollars, divided by our goods available for sale. This is the number of units, or if you want to write cases, that doesn't bother me. So again, they even give us a cute little spot to write it. So it's going to be the 18,275 divided by the 675. Then you get something like 27.074. I don't know why. They want you to do 27.08. I know it's against my rounding rules too, but if you want the number to work out and be nicey nice, just do that. So follow along. Again, here I am trying to like teach you to like, I don't know, not go against the grain. Go against the grain. If you want to write 27.07, it's just going to be a funkier number. So I apologize in advance. Okay, so then you're going to go, remember that now we're trying to put a dollar value to these 175 cases. We don't know what it is yet. So we're going to do 175 cases at this 27.08. And then we'll end up with 4,739. And all we have to do is go and subtract that from our cost of goods available for sale. Beep. 18,275 less the 4,739 gives us 13,536 as our COGS. All right, really is as simple as that for average cost. We're going to do LIFO FIFO probably starting on Tuesday, like I said, because we have a wellness day on Monday. And I'm not assigning you anything besides you having to maybe just submit this. And you know what? I will know if you did it because you filled this out and you rounded improperly like your textbook wanted you to with the 2708s. All right, so maybe just send me this as a screenshot or something like that. That will be your submission. Again, nothing wild, because I did it with you. We held hands and frolicked. Okay, I'm done. Have the best weekend ever. Enjoy, and we will be in touch on Tuesday.